Morning, everybody. Welcome to Lockpod Season 10, Episode 13, coming to you. Well, we're Midwest Most Dangerous Podcast. Let's get that straight. And we're coming to you live from the NECA IBEW Powering Indiana Lake County studio.
And
Smith Sursick Law Firm. Sorry.
It's been putting the podcast together is hard enough. And then add on that, I had to get my own coffee this morning.
Fucking Jill rolls in, right?
Jill rolls in like at 2 seconds left
Dude,
of
it's
the
like
intro.
she's like a hourly worker punching clock. Let's just be honest.
It's like I made it 7:30,
like 7:29.
Yep,
You
and
get
38
what
seconds.
you pay for.
You get
Yes.
what you pay for. Wait, I'm not getting paid. I pay money.
No, she means her. We get what we pay her.
None of us are getting paid.
No.
No wonder her show sucks.
At least you don't have to pay taxes on the minuscule income.
That's right,
Yeah.
Jill. At least you don't have to
There's
pay
an
taxes
income?
like us.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't call
there's
it an
one
income.
income.
There's-
It's Steve.
Yeah, Steve gets a
Is
W-2.
he still alive?
Yes.
Yes.
He's in Mexico right now enjoying
He
it.
is not.
No, I was kidding.
He's
Oh,
getting
I was
those
like, oh my
alternative,
God. If he's in Mexico,
With our money.
man,
Fucker.
after that surgery, after supposed to
That's
be on
where he had
medical
the
leave.
surgery in Mexico?
Well, dude, it doesn't matter where you are. If you had surgery, you could be in Mexico. There's,
I guess you mean surgery. I
there's
guess you can be in
Zoom
Mexico
and cell
recovering.
phones. You could do a lot with Zoom and cell phones.
Do whatever you want. Go
Yeah.
wherever you want and
You
recover.
could run a city with a Zoom and a cell phone.
Wow.
Probably
No.
so easy to get cocaine down there.
It's the personal
Yeah.
touch.
To take
Does
the
Steve
edge
do
out?
cocaine?
I don't know.
Because he's a cop.
Could.
That's
I
not
hope
good.
not.
I don't
the
think
best
Steve
cover,
does.
though, isn't it?
No
If he
cocaine.
does, man, I'm going to test him when he gets back to it. We'll just
And what are you
put him
saying?
on a-
What are you saying, Jill? You're the one who has a cop in the family. What do
Dude,
you know about this?
I'm just saying, like,
You
drug
can't do that.
runners,
He's
the
a cop.
border, you know.
He's a
like-
cop. And he's the leader of Lockpod. We can't have a cokehead as the leader of Lockpod.
No.
That'd be incredibly
no,
poor
it'd be-
taste. on
we
our
already
part.
have crazy people.
We
on
have
this
poor
podcast.
taste, and that's incredibly poor taste.
We don't need drugs for that.
What's
No.
up, J-Vez?
Hey, someone in chat said they couldn't hear.
Oh,
I think it's just her because everyone
Okay.
else says they can hear.
Good.
wonderful.
So that's what I was dealing with
Because
the
this
first
is
minute.
quality shit
Feels
that
like
we're
you did
putting
that on
out. Like,
Can you hear
Exactly.
Chad? Can you hear us?
They can hear. Nicole can I hear? Nicole, reboot or something.
yeah,
Try and restart.
Nicole, what's up with Nicole? Hey, by the way, we're doing the potluck segment 3.
Yes.
Like we did. Jill, were you here for the potluck last time, or was that
No.
Lindsay? We do
So exciting for me. I
first
wasn't
and
there
second
either.
segment, normal Lockpod segments. Third segment is you decide, a live audience. So
Wow,
like
it
Twitter.
sounds like we didn't have enough time to do a note or something.
Well, Twitter, you could.
Did we lose that one?
No.
So basically, if you're in the audience and you have a question about Lockpod or anything in the world or what our view is or whatever, politics, whatever, you just give it to John. John will assemble your questions, and then in the third segment, we're just going to roll through your live audience questions.
And it doesn't matter what platform you're on. If you're on Facebook, X,
Yeah.
or YouTube, or
John is monitoring
Stitcher,
all of them.
or anything,
John should get
iHeartRadio.
paid. Seems like he does a lot back here.
I like
Right.
that, John.
What are you trying to cause, like labor discontent?
We've already had a longshoreman strike this week. Let's not, let's not
Fight the
get too
power.
crazy.
And Kevin's got a great quote from Trump about not wanting to pay people time and a half.
Oh man,
For overtime.
I was like, dude.
Oh, I heard
and
that one.
the crazy thing about that, and we're gonna get to that, but like in that video, there's a bunch of Teamsters with like Teamster shirts in the background. Teamsters for Trump, and he's like,
Yeah.
fuck overtime.
Yeah,
Dude.
Teamsters for Trump. Real
Yeah.
smart.
Mhm.
Real smart.
Good
Yeah,
thinking.
I'm sure like he voluntarily like pays those union wages to the Teamsters with Trump Tower,
Yeah.
right? What a bunch of
No.
that just shows you. I get really frustrated with people that have no business voting for Trump. Vote for Trump. I get no like if you're super rich and you're like, yeah, I vote for
get it.
Trump because I'm fucking rich and I don't
Billionaire.
want, right? I'm
Elon
like, okay,
Musk.
I get that, right? But like, I have people that I know are broke,
broke ass.
and they're like, yeah, I'm voting for Trump. I'm like, to me, there's a special place in hell for you. Well, honest to God,
Whoa.
man, it just shows an extreme level of stupidity in my mind.
Or
Yeah,
the
or
racist.
Extreme
I was gonna
level.
say, or they have other issues like,
Because he doesn't give a shit about like the Teamsters. Let's be honest. What the fuck is
or
the
even
matter
the
with
working
them?
class.
The national Teamsters should be slapped hard across the face. Just slapped. Are you stupid? You're leading a group of Teamsters that Trump could spit on. He would spit on you, and you're gonna lead the national Teamsters towards him. It's just ironic and dumb.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not being nice. I can't until election day.
You said
gotta
that.
you gotta be honest.
I like
man.
your shirt, by the way.
But you got to be honest, man. This guy's a fucking train wreck, and he's leading our country to hell. He's leading our country to hell. Donald Trump. He's the worst human being probably ever put out by this country.
He's definitely, in my opinion, dangerous for our democracy
I
and our
think he's a
republic.
piece of garbage, man. I know, John. But like, hey, how did you think Randy did last show, John?
Oh, I love John's comment
What do you mean?
after. I thought it was great.
That he's too liberal for me.
Yeah, he's too liberal for John.
He might be a little too liberal
Well,
for me, but
I think he
Glad
answered
he was
questions that I think he answered
Do you really think
questions
he's liberal,
to the,
Kevin?
I think he answered questions on our show that I thought he was answering to our audience to make moderates and independents want to vote for him.
Bing.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean,
So he's a politician.
He's campaigning.
yeah.
I think if he was real, if we were sitting down with Randy and we were at the whole show is based off of we were at dinner together and there was no cameras or, microphones turned on, I think you'd be satisfied with him, John. But he's campaigning in the 1st Congressional District, a strong Democratic district, and he's trying to win.
He's trying to go to the middle. Yeah.
Right.
That's the
yeah.
idea I got, and you have to be in this district. I get it. It's kind of the same thing like Andrade, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said things to me that surprises me. Like, wow, this guy is he's on board with some stuff
John,
that
Mike,
I like.
Mike used to be a Republican.
Oh, I didn't know
He
that.
changed parties back in the day, like a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely, and he's like comes from the business world, like restaurants,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
real
Real estate and-
right? So Mike is pro-business Democrat.
Very pro-business. Yeah.
It's probably why he does such a good job up here. He's
Agreed.
good on
Does a
talking on
great
both
job.
sides.
Mike is
Yeah.
honestly, Andrade is excellent as a state rep.
I was at a fundraiser for Mike earlier this week, and Tom gave a phenomenal intro.
Oh, nice.
It was
really
like
good.
a lock pod. It was like a lock pod.
It was
segment.
really
That's
good.
why we've talked about that stuff on
He had a
lock
nice
pod.
sport coat on. I was like, man, because I saw Tom earlier in the day, and it was just casual. And then I saw him that evening, and
yeah. I dressed up.
I don't want
I dress
to
up.
go overboard here, but I thought it was really good.
But like
Really good
that
speech.
we've said that one on Lockpod before. Basically, it was talking about the failure of democracy, about how unfortunately democracy is not all it's billed to be. That when we have true problems like the nation's debt, for instance, you're never going to find a politician in Washington D.C. that wants to tackle that debt. That's a problem with
that
democracy,
issue,
right? Because it's a negative. Or if they want to fix Social Security, you're not going to find people that are willing to do that because they'll lose their job. And they're selfish, and it's a human thing.
You want to keep power, right?
Right.
People, it's a human nature thing.
Basically, that was my intro to Mike, talking about how Mike is sort of above that, and
Yeah, he's.
and we got a good one, and we got to get him reelected.
Yeah, it was really good.
I liked it. It was a good speech, I thought. And I get done with my speeches, and usually I think they're shit.
No, that was good.
I got done with that one. I knew I did well.
Yeah, it was nice. So-
Like I did the Realtors one a week ago, Realtors one, and I knew I killed that one too. Like when I know I kill it, I know I kill it, and normally I get done, I'm like, fuck, that sucked. You suck.
2 for 2, huh?
I was 2 for 2 last week,
Nice.
but Joe, honestly,
Focused.
I could tell when I kill it, but when I don't, if it's even like a B plus, I'm pissed off at myself. Like I'm talking shit to myself, and I sit down like, you're so stupid. You're stupid. Stuff like that.
You need to find. Don't be so hard
In
on
that
yourself.
room downstairs, and
You know what? A thing lately Tom's been doing a lot during his discussions, and he has not done this in the past. So this is like a new thing.
What?
I just want to punch myself in the
Yes,
face.
yes.
This is a new thing for him. Like I was like,
It's
where's this coming
It's a good way to
from?
put it. I like it. It's a good expression.
Yeah, he's like, I just want
Repeatedly
to
punch
punch
myself in the
myself.
face.
I'm like, damn.
Speaking of punching in the face, let's talk about the VP debate.
Yes.
That's a good segue.
Yeah.
John put this segment together, so expect a pro-right slant.
Yes, definitely.
I like how we're doing this now. We're like, because, look at that beautiful picture of JD.
This is actually funny.
It actually starts not pro Vance.
Okay, let's go.
This is kind of famous now. This screenshot going around because Vance kept like looking at the camera, kind of breaking the third or
Agree,
the
John.
fourth wall. And whenever Waltz would say something he disagreed with, but for me, this picture. Can we just agree Vance is wearing eyeliner?
yes.
For sure.
Oh,
We
wow.
all agree on that?
Everybody was talking about that.
Yeah.
Really? That's crazy. He is
And-
wearing eyeliner.
I've seen this before in his speeches, and I'm like, that's freaking eyeliner.
Dude, they put makeup on you when you go on TV, John.
But
No, we're
They don't do
gonna
eyeliner.
I don't
Eyeliner.
know.
Yeah,
I've had makeup put on me when I go on TV.
they didn't put
guys.
eyeliner on you.
Okay.
I'm
I
just-
imagine. That's probably true.
They should have filled in his brows while they.
But
were
I'm
at
stupid.
it.
Like, if they put eyeliner, I wouldn't even know what the hell they're doing. I don't do makeup, Joe.
I feel like
You would think
know
a
if
pencil
somebody was
right
putting
here.
eyeliner on you.
But like, I
You
wouldn't
would
even,
remember.
I wouldn't even think about it. I wouldn't even think about it. I would trust them to do the right
Well,
thing.
he has eyeliner on, regardless of whether
Okay.
you did.
Do you think
did.
he said, "Hey, make sure you put the eyeliner on," or do you think they just did that?
He's in the closet.
No, I think it's like
thing.
DeSantis and his little stilts.
Yes,
I
yes,
think he
John.
wants that eyeliner on.
Okay.
This is not the only time.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's got eyeliner on. We all agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, man. A divided country has hope. We can come together on this.
That's
No,
right.
I agree. I mean, what's the big deal, right?
I mean, I
he's
think-
definitely got eyeliner on. I mean, I agree.
Interesting about the VP debate overall. Like, I read an article. It was like, it kind of started out with like, "Welcome back to Planet Normal. It's 2012. No one's fighting. The politicians are talking about issues. and they're being cordial to each other.
The VP debate.
Yeah,
right.
and it was about the VP debate, and I was like, that's interesting because it was a little bit boring, I guess.
I didn't watch it.
I
didn't care.
And I was like, they're actually being pretty polite to one another and talking about the issues.
Jill,
so-
you didn't watch it, did you?
Absolutely not.
Thank you. Okay, so
I got
Jill
about
and I
the
are going
first-
fresh. You watch it
First hour.
I should have watched it.
It was
I
more than an
acknowledge.
hour?
Oh yeah.
Well, it was
Good
like an
God.
hour.
It'd be like an
40.
hour and a half, right?
Yeah, it's like
Ugh.
maybe it was an hour
Typical
10 in. I missed
Typical
the last
debate
half
length,
hour.
90 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right,
So what
John.
do you got, John? I'm anxious.
All right.
This is my first impression.
Okay. Well, I only have two things really,
Okay.
and
I got more.
One is, it seems like since Waltz has been picked for VP, everyone's digging into his quotes, like about places he's been.
Yeah, the China stuff.
the
I heard.
timing. So the big thing was he said in 1989 he
China.
was in
Think about this.
Tiananmen
1989.
Square. Yeah, yeah, they're going
He
back
was
that
in-
far.
I think
Yeah.
you'd probably remember if you were in Tiananmen Square. You probably think you're going to get
No,
run over by a
He,
tank.
no, he did not say that, John. He said he was in Hong Kong.
Oh,
Correct.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
you're right. You're right.
Still.
I was so surprised, and people have kind of determined that's not true. He wasn't there during that.
Right.
Right.
He was there around the time.
Right.
Later that summer.
That summer,
Yeah.
right.
And these moderators, thank you, pressed him on this. I couldn't believe it. I was
Good.
shocked to hear this.
I don't
So-
think
I didn't think
moderator.
the moderators were that good.
You didn't?
Eh.
Why? Like,
'Cause of
I
this.
haven't seen it yet. Okay.
No,
let's
not
go.
because of this. I didn't even see this.
All
Okay,
right, we're
let's
not
go.
going to play the 3 minutes, but he
Okay.
gave a 3-minute response. So
Okay.
I'm going to do the intro and the end. Okay, here we go.
Said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the
like,
spring
"Fuck."
of 1989.
I knew this was coming.
The Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy? You have 2
Yeah,
minutes.
well,
He
to
looks
the
like-
folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska.
Okay, so
What?
he goes on a
Who gives a
2-minute
fuck?
rant
Right.
about growing up
I
and
know it was a rant.
riding around when the lights go on at night. It's just really weird. But let's go to the end. He doesn't answer the question. So we'll go to
that-
the end when
that's
she
shocking
repeats it.
in a presidential or vice
Think of the
presidential
values
debate.
that people care about.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the
No, just
discrepancy?
all I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in
Well, it's like,
Hong
what,
Kong and
what
China
else do you want?
during the democracy protests went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
He
what
was
you
there
can do
shortly
about
after.
it. Yeah, I mean, I guess my response to that is like he did the best he could with that question. They're going to rip him for it. But like I go back and think the liar in chief, former President Trump, I mean, like
Of course.
who wins on the
I know,
who's
I know.
lying more, right?
Okay,
I mean,
but at least
so-
they're consistent and they point that he
Yeah,
is not
they should have
honest,
gone
right?
after him. They should-
John, I think
absolutely.
that's a good moderator, John.
My answer might surprise you.
This is the first I've watched it.
I think
keep in
it's a
mind.
stupid question. I think
But
it's
he
a
lied,
dumb
and I think
question.
they're trying to impress people like yourself, John, by like pointing out that even our guy, well, if you believe the media is lefty, even Tim, the guy
Right.
on the left,
They don't wanna give him
lied,
a
and we're
pass.
confronting him about it,
Yeah.
right? On national TV during a debate, and this was talked about because I caught it and I didn't watch the debate. I did catch this though, that he got tripped up on the China question.
John, what I would say is if they didn't ask him about it, the right would have had a field day about it. Like if they didn't go after him. So I think they're in a tough position. I agree with you. It's kind of a dumb question, but if they don't deal with it, then they're criticized even more, right? For being like mainstream media. They gave him a pass on it.
Yeah. Well, here's another example. The Vance side. One of the questions was, you once said Trump. You compared Trump to Hitler. How can America trust you now that you're his running mate? These are.
Do we have that video?
Do you have that
no,
clip?
I don't have
I
it.
prefer seeing the clips. I'll be honest.
But it's just to me, these are just. This is a debate. What? Like,
Hold it,
let's
hold it.
talk about
Hold
the
it.
debt.
But that's legit, right?
Deficit. No, not to me.
Hold it. If he at one point said Donald Trump is Hitler, Donald Trump is the worst president we could possibly pick, and now all of a sudden he thinks Donald Trump is the best, I think that's legitimate that they bring that up in a debate.
I
Explain
don't.
yourself, JD.
I don't. It's a vice presidential debate. What are we talking about? These
But
stupid
he's a
little low
hypocrite.
IQ, divisive questions for. That's my feeling.
I'm glad you're
I
not
think
a
the one
moderator.
thing that I picked up on
I'm
Vance,
glad you're not a moderator.
if I'm if I'm picking up from the left side, I guess what I
Actually,
would
you
say,
would be glad I was a moderator because there's big questions out there. How do you guys feel about the deficit? What are we going to do to tackle this? No one's talking about it.
Agree.
It's a big part of your speech, Tom, about a problem
Agree.
with democracy.
Agree.
So
Agree.
we're just talking about pointless stuff.
They
It's all
didn't touch
clickbait.
Ukraine.
They didn't talk about Ukraine. Yeah.
So a couple of things I thought were interesting, if you're just looking at it from, what did J.D. Vance do or not do? One, I thought he was a much smoother speaker. And I was actually surprised because what I've seen him in the past is like almost not human. And so it was interesting to see him come off, I thought, speaking well. Two, I thought it was interesting that like when pressed twice, he refused to answer the question about who won the 2020 election. I thought that was interesting because he kind of wanted to. He said, "I want to talk about the future. I want to move forward." Okay, fine.
Another stupid question.
It is, but it isn't, right? Because I think most Americans know that that whole election fraud thing was made up by Trump, and I want to see what his running mate says. And I think he didn't want to answer it because he didn't want to piss off Trump. And then last, I thought it was just funny how much he blew Trump during it because I think he knows that Trump's watching. And so, like, I was like, he definitely needs to make sure he talks about Trump a lot, which, I mean, fine, he should, right? I mean, it's his running mate. So I just thought that was interesting, too. And all in all, I thought the other thing that came out, and John and I follow this guy on Twitter. John, we got to laugh about this.
Oh, yeah.
This guy, Derek Guy on X, he's is he British or is he? I don't know if he is.
But he is. I don't think I've ever seen him.
He's fashion, like he goes into fashion and talks about everything about fashion. Like he'll rip apart somebody in a suit or what's wrong with the suit. And he was talking about the ties. And this is on X. He said, Vance would have been better served by a more conservative tie. Fuchsia raw silk is something you wear to summer garden parties, not debates.
Yeah, let's talk about his tie.
Things that never passed through my mind.
Right. That's why this is funny.
Bizarre. So, his tie is...
It was distracting.
Yeah.
Why?
It's like a weird pink color.
And it's like faded.
Textured, too. I
Texture.
think I saw, yeah.
There's like a bit of a... I don't want to say corduroy feel, but like a thick texture. I don't know. It was weird to me.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought Waltz's tie was good. Nice blue. Like actually Obama's is best. Look at that. Yeah,
it is
good.
A nice tie,
good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
He's dressed pretty well.
Always. Vice presidential debate. We made it through.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters.
He said he was friends with school shooters, John?
Yeah, let's play that.
It must have been a misspeak.
But Kevin, I want to talk about what you said. It doesn't matter. I think it matters in the sense that up until this point, a big thing with like the Dems has been Vance is weird. He's weird. The couch thing, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think this changed after this debate. I think Vance did come off
pretty normal,
very well. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But yeah, here's the
but people like Jill and I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, I still think he's weird.
Because we didn't watch it. If we would have watched it, we'd love him.
John,
Probably not.
John, what I meant by it doesn't matter is like one of like the most that we can ever think of vice presidential debate moments is when Benson went after Quayle. Said, "You're no Jack Kennedy," right? One of the and like Quayle and Bush still won. So I guess I'm just saying like this usually doesn't move the needle, unless there's a.
Yeah, we'll play this last clip here. I'm thinking like Kevin. I'm thinking he just missed some words or didn't say what he was thinking. But yeah, listen to this clip where Walz says he became friends with school shooters.
Senator, thank you. Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but it's only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was an NRA guy for a long time. They used to teach gun safety. I'm of an age where my shotgun was in my car so I could pheasant hunt after football practice.
Senator, thank you.
I think he meant victims of school shooters. I think he just misspoke. I doubt he meant he was friends with.
Yeah.
But you know how, I mean, the Trump campaign ran with that.
Of course.
There's yard signs now saying vote Trump, Vance, not friends with school shooters, all that
Bizarre.
stuff. So,
yeah.
Think about, I was thinking about with this quote particularly, and Tom, you can probably relate to this, I'm sure, how often these people are speaking in public. You're going to mess up, man. Sure. And they're going to jump on it.
They parse every word.
The higher you go, the more they're going to jump on it.
Yeah.
We're going to get to some Trump videos later that we kind of have fun with him misspeaking, I think.
Well, I mean,
maybe
that's the thing. And then, like, if there's an agenda, too, like, think about Biden before he dropped out. If Biden would misspeak any time at all, they'd be like, he's got Alzheimer's.
Exactly.
And, every time. And people mess up. I messed up on the show probably already, right? Everybody misspeaks.
Probably. He said but you're not sure you did.
No, I probably did because I do constantly. I say stuff and I mispronounce a word or I use the wrong word or it's not because I'm on the fly. Most of the stuff I'm doing is coming right off the top of my head. So sometimes you mess up and then you're running for president and then when you say one wrong thing or you say it wrong or you don't use an apostrophe or whatever, right?
Yeah.
then you're just blasted to the whole world like you're a dumbass.
I've even
Like,
heard you in public have to say things like, "Look, do you think I really meant that? I said this.
Right.
It's not what I meant."
Sometimes I'm like, I rationalize and explain things, and but anyway,
yeah. I guess the point is that someone like you, Tom, as a public figure,
I mess up.
yeah, it's just human nature. I mean, so does,
I'm not reading from a speech.
Yeah.
I'm going off the top of my head. Like on Lockpod, I've never done anything like, nothing prepared before we come in
man,
here,
we work on our notes
other than
hard.
pre-show. But it's not a script.
That's true.
It's a outline of where we want to go.
It's an outline.
I could totally say something stupid and end up on the front page of the Times, or front page of whatever. I could end up say something real stupid and end up on Fox News.
Right.
Like we've been operating like this for 300 something episodes. So
wow, don't remind me. That's unbelievable.
That's
300.
Remember when you were on? Remember during the election you were on, and Rudy Clay. You were
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
man.
news channels, and
That made the Daily Show.
man.
yeah, I made
Wild
the Daily
stuff.
Show twice in a week that time.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was about like why
Mayor
is
fight.
it taking Gary so long to get the votes in or something?
Yeah, Rudy was playing games.
Yeah.
And he wanted to be the kingmaker, and I called him out on
On
CNN.
national.
National TV.
Yeah.
No one like him, man.
Rudy Clay.
was a
I was just talking about him the other day. Miss
Yeah.
him.
Great
Yeah.
guy. You want to do some? Let's do some ads. We're going to come back, talk about the Longshoremen short strike, including
It's
about
still,
the.
It's not completely resolved, by the way. It's a temporary resolution
Agreed.
until January, but we have some. We were going to do a big story on Daggett, the leader of the union.
He's something.
Yeah. We have some. It's interesting. So we're going to come back and talk about that, and then I want to remind you in segment 3 we're going live off of your questions. Are we getting questions, John?
No, not yet.
All right, let's go. Let's go, live audience. We have hundreds of people between the multiple media sources we're on right now. Throw some questions at us so we could have a segment 3. if not, we're walking.
If not, the good thing is we've got great default stories to talk about.
Don't go to the default stories. I like the potluck. I think the potluck worked last time. We're trying it again. So, again, get your questions to John for segment 3. So, we're taking them on Twitter and on Facebook Live. So, for our live audience,
and YouTube.
If you're streaming this, sorry, sucker, we can't get your live question because this could be like next week when you hear this.
You can put
Mail
it
it in. Put the
in
address.
comments.
Would you?
Put a stamp on it.
That's fine. Direct message. We'll do it.
Yes.
No, I mean, put
We
it
haven't
in
done
the
a
mail.
mailbag in a while.
Help
Oh,
the
yeah,
post
that's on
office.
you. Oh, whoa.
We don't have it.
That sounded different.
No, that was a lot different.
That sounded like
John, capture that and replay that.
something else
please.
with M. All right, let's
More
go ahead.
syllables.
He just misspoke about that,
Yeah.
everybody. That was not a.
When Tom's running for president.
Yeah,
in like
right.
8 years.
Okay.
What did you mean by that?
Yes,
Episode 312.
All right, Power in Indiana Lake County is our premier studio sponsor, and it's also our trust for the region's most trusted electricians. Are you thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or does your business have plans to break ground on a new project? Don't leave important projects in the wrong hands. With IBEW Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit powerindiana.org today to ensure your project's in the hands of skilled professionals who deliver on time and on budget. Find your electrical contractor at powerindiana.org.
Calumet Brewing Michelob Ultra is a superior light beer brewed for those who understand that it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Containing only 95 calories and 2.6 carbs, Michelob Ultra is a light lager brewed with the perfect balance of hops and wholesome grains, producing a crisp, refreshing finish. With Michelob Ultra, there's no better time to crack open a cold one. Head over to the Cal Brewer Michelob Ultra social media for info on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Michelob Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
We have our first question.
Yeah, I saw that. It's for Kevin.
Nice.
For Kevin.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I can't even get him. I'm like, I can't
Ooh,
figure this
you're gonna be
out.
on
You're
the
going to
hot
be
seat.
surprised.
Yeah.
Prestomer Insurance Agency. For decades, the Ron J. Prestomer Insurance Agency has been located right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. The Prestomer Agency specializes in a wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestomer Agency serves thousands of people and businesses throughout the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana area. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you.
Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious tap room and outdoor patio, serving its award-winning craft beer, a chef-driven food menu, and craft cocktails on draft. Their brewing equipment and production facility offer a unique backdrop for events like bridal showers, reunions, or corporate parties. With their new food truck, they can cater to your corporate and private events off-site. Just off 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Discover more at bywaybrewing.beer.
Kuklakis Law. Are you facing legal challenges and don't know where to turn? Look no further than Kuklakis Law, your trusted source for legal advice in Indiana and Illinois. Do you need help buying or selling real estate? Call Kuklakis Law. Forming a new business? Call Kuklakis Law. Injured in a car crash or at work? Call Kuklakis Law. No matter what your legal issue is, call 219-671-6347 to schedule your free consultation. Who are you going to call? Kuklakis Law. Hablamos Espanol. Thanks to all our sponsors, including our studio sponsor, Power in Indiana, Lake County.
Okay, we're going to do a segment because it's been planned and we were ready for it, and then last night they settled the damn strike. Temporarily settled
Still
the strike.
interesting, though.
Why didn't they check with us?
I wish they would have held out just for another morning. I mean, very inconsiderate.
Why do it on a Thursday?
Completely inconsiderate, right? So anyway, yeah, it crippled the East Coast shipping, so they were probably in a little hurry. The Longshoremen are flexing their muscles to show America, to show the world that if they go on strike, nothing could move from the East Coast all the way down to Texas. On the West Coast, they don't have these same problems because on the West Coast, all the ports are largely automated, which is one of the big issues in this.
Is it the same union on both coasts?
No. This was Texas and the East Coast, basically.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then on the West Coast, like they showed a terminal in L.A. because I did some research. This is my segment. I did some research on it. L.A. ports are almost completely automated. There's not hardly any human beings.
And East Coast ports?
Mostly union.
Interesting.
So, like, interesting on this is one of the big issues in this strike is, of course, pay. Everybody wants more pay. And in this case, the Longshoremen are trying to get a 70% pay raise, which is pretty significant.
Yeah.
And then another issue in this is automation. They want to keep humans on the ground. They don't want automation like they have in L.A. because if, once L.A. automated, they said that port alone lost 800 union jobs.
I think I noticed that the settlement moved their wages from $39 an hour to $63 an hour in about 6 years. And I'm thinking it's kind of like,
That's
it reminds
solid.
me of, you think?
What do they do? Because I might want to change my...
They're crane operators. They pull cranes off the ships, and then they drop them onto semis, and then the semis take off.
Okay.
So, like, they're pulling, like, huge semi-cranes.
Okay.
They lift them off the ship, and then they drop them onto...
Yeah, and I'm sure they
trains.
do other stuff
or
on the
trains.
ground. But
yeah, of course. Or they drive on the ground, and they move stuff around, and then they have laborers that assist them. But the big guys are the ones that are pulling the semi-loads off of the ship, put it on a train or put it on a semi, and then it takes off.
And you could see how I'm sure they feel threatened because you could see how that could be a very automated job.
It's completely automated in L.A.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. The West Coast is all tech. So they're like, hey, the tech is great. And now the unions on the East Coast are like, fuck
Oh,
that.
shit that's coming our way.
If they go tech here, my job. Maybe, like, by the way, these people, the head of the union is making $770,000 a year.
902.
And he's worried about being automated. Maybe you shouldn't be making $900,000 a year if your job could be automated, right? Like, my job can't be automated. I know that. There's going to be a human that always does my job, and I dare say your job as well, Kevin.
Yeah, I would think so.
But Vesmar's job, let's be honest, automated all day.
all day.
I thought there was a funny article in the Wall Street Journal, or no, I can't remember. Actually, I think it's the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
It's called "Bentley Drivers of the World Unite."
Yeah. Oh, because the union leader, Mr. Daggett, has a Bentley
and a 76-foot yacht
and condos and a $6 million house or something like that.
and
he lives in.
a statue that they built for him in front of the Union Hall.
Well, like
Shut
this is
up.
Yes.
really.
Oh yeah.
Do we have a
What a
picture of
jag
that?
off.
So he's 902,000. His son, who's the vice president, is 703,000.
That's convenient.
Okay, do me a favor, John.
wild.
Click on the
Yeah.
one that says "Don't fuck with the maritime."
Yes,
unions.
this is a great
I want
one.
to introduce this guy.
This guy
him.
right here?
This is Daggett. This is the leader of the union.
78 years old.
Don't fuck with the maritime unions around the world. We will shut you down.
Okay, so
And it goes on to their little.
You want me to play that?
no.
Because it's a copyrighted song. So.
Yeah. No, don't. Yeah, thank you, John, for doing
Good
that.
call, John. See, that's why we can't automate him.
Okay, this squeezing their balls to stop automation. Could you do that one?
Yeah.
This is the same guy.
Yep.
This is speaking to a union crowd. He's in. I don't know if he realizes,
Elizabethtown, New Jersey.
I don't know if he realizes this is going viral. I mean, maybe sometimes you give speeches in union halls where you're cussing. I do that also. Usually when I give a speech in a union hall where I'm cussing, it doesn't go viral because nobody cares that much about what I say.
I don't think he cared that it went viral.
Okay, so let's play it.
Up to them, they would like to see automation right here in Elizabeth and do away with our jobs. That's not going to happen on my watch, or on my son's watch either. We'll never allow that. So I want stronger word in the contract for automation and semi-automation, with just the back avenue to get into automation. We're not going to allow it. The contract that I have is so strong. That's why they don't want to give in. I'm squeezing their balls because I'm here to protect everyone's job right here in your family.
And he kind of came through. We'll see what happens with the automation part of it. But this guy is something, man. He's like got indicted.
Accused of being in the mob.
Yeah.
But he's making.
I could see that.
900
Like
grand.
he might be in the mob.
So this is the first one, John. This is the one where he's talking about like he's like a blue collar guy and he's wearing designer glasses. I think somebody was doing an analysis. These are like $1,000 sunglasses he's wearing.
Whoa.
He's got this huge gold chain with a huge gold medallion around his neck. And this guy's making 900 grand a year trying to like talk to us like
Just
he's
a blue collar union
just a
guy.
blue collar guy. So go ahead and hit this one, John.
Now I have the president screaming at me. I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier? It's going to cost the companies money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. In today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means.
What a jag-off, man.
So interesting. Both Vice President Harris and former President Trump both came out on the side of the workers on this. I think it's what this is. I guess this is a little bit funny, but not that funny. It seems like the Chinese won since on the West Coast, China. That's where all their ships go, and they got automation. And now the European lines and the African lines are getting screwed because it's going to get passed on to them on the East Coast.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
China
so
wins
while
again.
they're crippled on the East Coast,
Yeah.
China can keep on
Rolling.
shipping their goods to us because it's just rolling over there with automation.
Yeah, no strike.
I mean, let's be honest, longshoremen. They're going to win eventually, and they're going to automate these jobs. It's going to happen. If it doesn't happen in this contract, it'll happen in the next one. So this strike is out there.
They're trying to ride it out, though.
What, do they think like 50 years from now they're still going to be working the docks? There won't be
think so.
one person working the docks 50 years from now. It'll be all robots.
And maybe it's just short term. These guys are like, all right, let's get our 62% wage increase and ride it out.
This is the last one. This is the last one we're going to get.
Last couple.
Right?
I thought it was funny that he's also already pumping his son up.
Yeah.
Like, almost
I didn't know that. His son is making is the number
703,
2. He's making
Vice
703. His
President.
dad's making 900.
902.
That should be illegal, man.
It's crazy.
Like when you average workers making 80 grand a year and the president union's making
Not
900.
anymore.
Yeah.
These guys are over 100 already, and it's just going to go up.
There's a longer clip going around of that last clip we did where he talks about during COVID. They didn't take any time off.
He mentions that.
They were the ones out there
Yep.
while there was a big transfer of wealth going on, not to them,
to the
but to
shipping
stocks.
lines.
And so he actually, I don't know. I'm torn on this one, man. Like he made some good points.
I mean, if you can get if you can get the wages, amen to you.
Yeah.
But like, wow, because to me it almost is like in baseball, Tom, like where you get like, oh, so and so just signed the highest contract.
Yep.
And then that becomes
until the next year,
and that becomes now the oh, you got to get there because so and
then
so
there's
makes
a baseball
that much
player
money.
that comes around the next year and they're like, well, I'm the best now, and I should make the most also.
I should make the same as this guy.
Right.
And so like now it's gonna be like, well, the auto workers will be like, well, look what the longshoremen got. We're as good as them. We're important as them to the economy.
It's funny that you mentioned auto workers because that's where I think this guy, remember the
Fain, yeah, Sean Fain.
Sean Fain.
Yeah.
And he was like famous because he got a huge contract for the auto workers. Yeah. And at that time, everybody was afraid that was going to cripple the economy.
Yeah.
And Sean Fain came through, and Sean Fain was sort of like idolized. He was like, look at this guy. He's the head of the auto workers. He saved the economy. He got a good contract for his people. And I think this Daggett was sitting there just burning up like, I'm important too. I swear, I think that's where this is coming from. He's like, you wait till they see how powerful the longshoremen are.
And just to put you in perspective, Sean Fain's salary last year was $200,000.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Sean Fain is a true leader, and this guy is a crook. He is. He's like, I don't deny. I mean, I don't doubt that he's somehow affiliated with bad people. I don't, because how could you justify your salary at $900,000.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, those are just allegations. Who knows?
You don't think his salary is that high? You say?
No. I'm saying about affiliated with bad people. I have no idea.
He was indicted. He went to trial and was acquitted.
Yeah, and a bunch of charges were dismissed. So who knows?
One of the witnesses ended up dead. Did you hear about that?
That's the kind of stuff.
Some mob shit. Man.
Yikes.
And by the way, mobs and unions, they never mix, right?
No, not at all.
Of course not.
So this is interesting though, because like I think what I'm hearing, and I think I agree with you, Tom, is that like this union may not even be relevant in the next generation.
On the West Coast, it's not relevant.
Wow. I got to look into
automated on the West Coast. You think
so interesting.
That's why it's all about automation. They're like, fuck you.
I think that's
we'll
the
go
battle.
on strike. That's what. I mean, money, of course, right?
Sure.
But automation, they're like probably They won't.
That's still negotiating. They're still negotiating.
They're like, listen, we're gonna start small in this contract, and then the next contract is gonna get bigger, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They got their wages, but who knows what's going to happen with automation? So,
how we doing on questions, Javez?
Good. We have a handful.
Good.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw one about Dr. Forright. I love it.
Oh, good.
I saw that one too.
That is a good.
It's
question.
like, where's Dr. Forright? That should be the question.
That was basically the question.
Where's
so
Dr. Forright? I can't
wait
wait to talk about that.
So
let's get him on Skype.
Let's
good luck
from Vietnam.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck.
So we got some pretty funny Trump videos from this week. I just couldn't resist, and these were great. Speaking of like misspeaking,
these are all at the same rally?
No. Some were at a press conference, and John, I think one or two were at a rally.
Okay.
So this is Donald Trump talking about his buddy, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, is trying to kill him.
Washington would not get us. They said that we have to guard the United Nations, which meant the president of North Korea, who's basically trying to kill me. So they want to guard him, but they don't want to guard me. So we're going to start having it out with them because we've sort of have.
What's the context there?
I think they were talking about what we have to do about protecting leaders when they come to the United Nations. He meant Iran, I think.
Yeah, the Secret Service is protecting.
Yeah, I mean, but they have to. I mean, it's your job when they come to America. What are you going to do? Like, let them just roam and
right.
Yeah, go
Get
ahead.
Hail taxis by themselves.
Sure. Good luck.
Yeah.
So he looks tired, by the way.
I was going to say the same thing. He looks
really tired.
Yeah, I'm sure he is tired, but like that seems to me like a tired answer. Like he's tired, he's not thinking it through.
This is a video about, and this is kind of, in my opinion, this is a little offensive, especially I think to veterans. This is when, if you remember back when he was president, there was a bombing on a outpost in Iraq where the soldiers had PTSD and other things. They didn't get hit directly.
Right.
And this is him talking about that event.
Do you think Israel should retaliate to these missile attacks from Iran? But also, do you believe that you should have been tougher on Iran after they had launched ballistic missiles in 2020 on U.S. forces in Iraq, leaving more than 100 U.S. soldiers injured?
So, first of all, injured. What does injured mean? Injured means you mean because they had a headache, because the bombs never hit the fort. So just so you understand, there was nobody ever tougher in Iraq. They had no money with me. They would have made any deal with me. I would have had a deal made within 1 week after the election. They were dying to make a deal. And when you say not tough, they had no money. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah. And when we hit them, they hit us. And they called us. And they said, we're going to shoot at your fort, but we're not going to hit it. And if you were a truthful reporter, which you're not, you would tell the following: none of those very accurate missiles hit our fort. They all hit outside. And there was nobody hurt other than the sound. It was loud. And some people said that hurt, and I accept that.
Says a guy that has shin splints and couldn't go to war. Like all of his peers, by the way. Everybody in his generation was going and getting drafted and going to the Vietnam War, and of course he's a multimillionaire, and his dad gave him a favorable doctor visit, and he got shin splints.
Yeah, I don't think you should be judging someone's injury.
What a fucking asshole. Like, the guy is a coward, and he was afraid to do his duty when he was of age, and now he's criticizing soldiers that are sitting in Iraq getting bombed, and he's going to criticize them. That's why people hate this guy. That's why they're shooting at him, because he's a fucking asshole.
So
here's my language.
Here's the photo of the Teamsters for Trump.
What? Even if he's an asshole, you can't shoot at someone.
I agree with you, John, but that's repulsive. He's talking about veterans that are sitting in Iraq getting bombed, and he's like, "What? They got headaches?"
I don't.
He's
disagree.
a fucking coward. He's a coward.
Disagree.
The guy that was too afraid to do the same thing that those soldiers did, and he's going to criticize them for having headaches and getting. I tell you what, John. If a bomb blows up near Smith-Sursick right now,
oh God,
I would probably have a goddamn headache, and I'd probably be complaining about it, and I'd wonder if I had concussion. Right?
I would definitely have a headache.
Okay, like,
yeah.
I don't. He's such a jagoff, man. There's a reason that people are trying to take him out, John.
I just think he could have answered the
question. He's not a real human being. He's just not.
I think the problem that I have with him in that answer is like he like can't help but talk about himself, and like you make sure that she knows that like. Everything I did was great.
Yes.
And these people are just complaining because these bombs didn't even hit the fort.
As soon as she asked the question, you could tell he was
getting aggravated.
He's like, I can't believe you would even ask me about that. Something that happened in 2020. But like, it was a legitimate question, and you're the president of the United States.
I mean, he should have just said I was tough on Iran, and this is what happened. And
which he says after the fact. But the damage has already been done.
Agreed.
That's my thing with Trump is like he just rambles, and the damage is already done, man.
And
you said because I don't care if they didn't hit their mark.
Exactly.
You fucking bombed an American outpost, like
right.
And by the way, and he went after him. So it's like that's what you should be saying.
Yes. Instead, he starts with because they had a headache.
Because they have a headache.
Nothing good.
It's like minimizing.
It just
I agree
turns
with you.
everybody off to his answer.
You're minimizing a veteran that's sitting in a desert
100
instead of
them.
sleeping with their instead of sleeping with their wives. They're in a desert with other men getting bombed, and he's like, "Oh, what? They just had a headache." Screw you, man.
Yeah, it's just not.
Screw you.
It's just a bad answer. So
it goes back to these politicians talking 24/7,
right?
And they're just
I don't know,
screwing
John.
up.
Like
man.
John, I have been on Lockpod for 300 episodes.
You've never said anything like that.
Agree.
I'll give
because I have like a guardrail. Believe it or not, I have a guardrail, and I won't cross that guardrail because I know it's offensive, repulsive, and I cross a lot of rails. But I don't cross the ones that are going to completely turn off veterans.
And you're not a megalomaniac, by the way, either.
Thank you.
So, all right. You want to go to overtime, John? Or we could go to this one.
Yes, let's do overtime.
All right. This is so Teamsters for Trump in the background, big union crowd. Here's what Donald Trump says about paying overtime.
By the way, real quick, before we jump into this, take a quick pan of the crowd. Teamsters for Trump. The one thing I know about Teamsters, when I go into the Teamster Union Hall, extremely diverse. Extremely diverse. Teamsters, where we live, it's like you'll find women, you'll find men, you'll find black, you'll find brown, you'll find Asian, it's a diverse union hall of Teamsters. That's usually what I'm used to seeing. So now I'm looking at a Trump Teamster rally in Michigan. I see nothing but white people. Like every single person in this screen is Caucasian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I have a little bit. I have a very soft spot for Teamsters. My grandpa was a milk truck driver, and he was a Teamster. He's the treasurer of the Teamsters Union. No,
Your grandpa?
No.
He was a Trumper before Trump?
He was an immigrant.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Overtime. I used to hate to pay overtime. When I was in the private sectors, they say, "Oh, I don't want over." You know, I shouldn't tell you this. I'd go out and get other people and let them work regular time.
What?
That's terrible. I should.
Dude,
like
what?
He actually says I shouldn't say this. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna
play that again.
They should have got up and left.
Yeah,
like look at it back there. Like
I used to hate to pay overtime. When I was in the private sectors, they say, "Oh, I don't want over." You know, I shouldn't tell you this. I'd go out and get other people and let them work regular time. That's terrible. I'd say, "Don't get me 10 other guys I don't want to have."
Look at these two women right here.
I don't get that.
Watch these two women.
Yeah, they're just talking. He's like, "What?"
No. They're like, "What the fuck?"
I know. What are we doing here?
I'd say, "Don't get me 10 other guys I don't want to have."
To me, John,
I don't want to have, but
it'll be great. It makes the people on this screen. You look really stupid.
You look like an idiot.
You're a freaking moron. If you're in this screen right now, you're a Teamster. You live off of overtime. You live off of union jobs. This guy, you're wearing all this guy's stuff, and he's mocking you.
And you may not even know it.
Like too stupid to even realize
you're
it.
You're too stupid to even realize the fact that he's basically saying like, F your collective bargaining agreement that says you get time and a half.
I hate paying time
over
and a half.
40,
I would
and you
just
get double time on
straight.
holidays, and you get triple time on Sundays or whatever it is. He's saying I wouldn't do that in the private sector.
I would just go get regular people.
Yeah, I'd get 10 people off the street to just pay
you're
regular time.
sitting there with this shit on. You union people are sitting there with this stuff on.
And your MAGA hat. She's
You're
got her hat
stupid.
on.
You're stupid. Everybody in this video, you're stupid. You're not smart.
In their defense, I don't think he's ever said something like this before.
But how do you not walk out then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
Wouldn't
you're
that have
probably
been great
just stunned.
If
You're
they would have
probably
got
just
up
stunned.
and left.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
God,
what they should have
been
done.
great.
Like, what the hell am I doing here? I'm a union person. I thrive off of a contract. If I have people that approach union contracts like this jack off that I'm wearing his colors, we're not going to be a union anymore.
This might have been one of the shocking, most shocking things he said. I mean, and there's been a lot. This is insane. And by the way, he's in Michigan.
Yeah, dude.
It's a UAW.
This is wild.
It just shows, John, that there's people that support Donald Trump that are just
for other reasons.
Well, by the way, I'm not going to say that with Hillary, with Kamala, she has supporters that are dumb too. They both do. But I don't get a union person sitting there getting mocked about how a guy would avoid paying overtime, and you're sitting there like a dumb shit.
Can we do Robert Kennedy real quick? Because this is just the funny way to end the second segment. And then you have this guy at a rally in Michigan, same rally, and this is what Robert Kennedy decides to talk about.
Teens today have 50% of the sperm count, 50% of the testosterone as teens, American teens 2 generations ago.
I always had a huge sperm count when I was a teen.
Wait, what's up with his voice?
They have it's a disease.
It's a permanent thing.
Oh, okay.
It's a permanent thing.
I don't think I've ever heard him talk before.
His sister has the same thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, a couple of his siblings.
Yeah.
Really?
But
you don't get sperm count very often in a presidential
No, let's
contest.
think about teenage boys' sperm count. I'm going to go that route on today's rally.
As soon as he said sperm count with teens, I was like, I'm definitely voting for Trump. As soon as I heard that, I'm like, dude, this is a deep campaign. Worried about sperm count.
I think what it is, it's where you have like 2 really well-off, rich, elite guys that grew up in New York, and they run in the same circles, and they're just out of touch.
You know what's interesting is before I even saw these clips go on the note, Kevin, my dad was watching that rally.
Yeah.
He texted my brother and I and said, Trump is riffing even more than usual, and it was like a turnoff to him.
Oh, so for him, that's a big, like even saying that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my dad watches a lot of these rallies.
Your dad's a union guy.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I don't think he heard this clip.
Oh, God. I would love to hear his reaction.
What union was your dad
Ford.
in,
UAW.
Stamping
Oh,
plant,
yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it is crazy to me about that overtime quote. That is insane. So anyway, this is segment 2. We're going to come back with segment 3 with your questions. Let's do some ads and come back.
Keep those questions coming, guys. It's going to be a short show, which I'm fine with. Short show. It's cool.
No, we got plenty.
We deserve a short show.
We got plenty.
Friday? Short show Friday?
Short show Friday.
Short show Friday. Rogers Roofing. When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business, Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 55 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and to schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com or 933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
MCR Partners is your one-stop destination for top-notch expertise in economic development, finance, and planning. With a dedicated team geared up to tackle your projects head-on, they're your go-to comprehensive solution providers. Dive into the world of economic development with MCR Partners and let them guide you through the maze of opportunities. For more information, check out their website at mcrpartnersllc.com. For tailored assistance, don't hesitate to reach out to Matt Reardon at 219-741-9511.
In advance. Let's do that. Can you do it one more time? I love this. All right. Elevate your brand with Misprint, the premier printing and sign solution in Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. With a 30-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team led by Rick Baltonsberger combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs, metal business cards, and printing, always on time and within budget. Conveniently located in Munster and Hammond, Misprint is your partner for creating impactful visual solutions. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today.
Frankie V's. No need to dress up. It's a casual place. Bring the whole family. We have plenty of space. A hidden gem in Hammond. You don't have to drive far. Delicious food, great service, and yes, a full bar. Try a homemade pizza chips, Italian beef, sausage, marinara, and more. We have delicious pizza, pasta, and Italian foods galore. Don't go where they don't remember you. It's just not the same. Come to Frankie V's where everybody really knows your name. Visit us today at thefrankieV's.com for daily specials, full menu, and hours.
Boy, you're lucky Lindsay wasn't here to criticize that read.
Mm-hmm.
Cantrell & Cantrell Attorneys at Law. Are you injured or in trouble with the law? Give Cantrell & Cantrell a call and schedule your consultation with someone who's in the court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and Kristen make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
All right.
Welcome back.
So we did this. This is the first time we're doing it with Kevin in the studio.
I'm excited.
Jill, were you in the studio last time?
Nope.
That Menendez brother in the middle looks like John Travolta, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, he does.
This is actually the first question.
The first question. So we're for this segment 3.
The Menendez brothers.
You guys are going to
Menendez
decide
brothers,
the live audience. That's one thing that's unique about our podcast is we have a live audience. Most podcasts you hear are streamed and recorded and then played differently. We have a live audience at all time through multiple platforms: Twitter, Facebook Live. What else, John? YouTube. And so John is scrolling through YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook Live to take your questions and put them on the show, and we'll answer them live on the show. So
let's jump in.
Let's jump in.
Question number 1 for Kevin. I would love to hear Kevin's thoughts on the Menendez brothers case with the new Netflix show and the case being back in the news. I believe there's a new appeal. Kevin, do you know much about this?
This is they killed their parents, right?
Yeah, they did in the 90s from Beverly Hills, right?
Right.
Eric and Lyle, I think their names
Serving
are.
life, I think.
Yes, they are.
Looks a lot like John Travolta.
Back then, I bet he doesn't now.
Right.
So I did notice though on my Netflix feed, they always it's the top thing that gets blown up there. It's called Monsters, the Lyle, and it's called Monsters, like the Menendez story. So I think they're doing like a recap of them. I also saw recently that Kim Kardashian wrote a essay saying like they should be let out.
Right.
And
well, obviously let them out.
And
right.
She said
when I think about innocence, I always think about what Kim Kardashian thinks.
People that killed their parents.
That's usually like, how does Kim Kardashian feel about this? That's usually where I roll to.
Right. And her,
like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like Kim, shut up.
That's her.
That's her thing,
project.
right? That's her thing.
Oh, it's the innocence thing.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's
she's
right.
on that. That's
Still,
her thing. So
Kim, shut up.
She wrote it. She wrote an essay, kind of saying like, "Hey, these poor little boys lost their childhood, and now they need to be reconsidered." And the only thing I can say that's happened recently is I heard that there was a letter written to the L.A. prosecuting attorney by one of the boys saying, they're not boys now, they're men, saying that he was molested. Now,
in jail?
No, by the parents. And that was like, that never came out of trial, and that needs to be considered. So even though the prosecutor probably has a legal obligation to look at that, I don't know how you would ever prove that since the parents are both dead because the kids killed them. So I don't know how you can ever prove that happened.
Look at this. Their attorneys argue that because of society's changing views on sexual abuse, the brothers may not have been convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole today.
So what, we should go back to like the 70s and 80s and everybody that's on death row and retry everybody?
Oh, you were molested.
Or even that, whatever issue. Like, it was, the 80s were unfair. They didn't have, this technology. I should have had the opportunity to do this. And I guess you can argue that, right? But we can't go back and retry everybody. I don't know. I mean, I probably want to see the Netflix thing and maybe, judge it after that. So
I like this. So, Kevin, you like this segment. I could tell.
That was man, I was a real curveball, John. I had no idea I was going to be talking about the Menendez brothers.
That's why this segment's so good.
Thank
the audience.
Thank you for that question. And I wasn't altogether ready, but
let's go.
Ready enough.
Let's go.
Thank God you guys have earpieces in, and we're feeding.
Right.
That's right.
Hey, John. So, how many?
Like
we have enough questions to keep this going for a little bit?
For sure. Yeah.
Right,
I mean, it's already 8:30. Well, let's keep.
Oh
going.
wow.
Okay,
keep it rolling.
let's go.
Right.
What's the latest on the Westlake corridor? How long before there are trains?
This is a project that's going through our city for the better part of 10 years. They've been designing this and talking about the financing. It came out initially, it was supposed to be like $400 million extension for 8 miles, and then it turned into closer to $1 billion. I think right now it's right around $800 million.
I think that's right. The only thing I've heard is the target date for trains is May 2025. I did see one of the head guys from FH Passion, which is the general contractor on the job recently, and he indicated that everything's going smooth in the north part of the project, which is like Hammond and the north part of Munster, but it's getting slowed down in the south part of Munster.
Let me tell you something. I ride it on my bike. I ride next to the line. That's really a big part of my ride is riding along the line, so I'm always constantly watching it as it's going along. I think Hammond's ready to go. Gateway Station looks like you could buy a ticket there right now.
They're going to start putting trains there this month,
Gateway
I think.
Station. But like the extension itself, the South Hammond Station is ready.
Looks good.
I mean, it got benches on
I'm
there.
Be able to walk there.
It's lit. It's like South Hammond Station's ready. Gateway Station's ready.
Ridge Road Station looks ready.
Okay, so like it seems to me like they're going to hit their May deadline.
Which is the deadline which has always been the deadline. So that's pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
Really impressive.
Like, and when I heard May 2025, it was like 2020.
And I was like, no way.
I'm like, come on.
It's a railroad they got to build.
But first off, like 5 years, I'm like, geez, oh, Pete, that's so far away.
Yep.
Now it's finally here.
Yep.
And I could tell you the stations themselves look like they're ready to take a train right now.
And so do the tracks for the most part.
They're doing like, you could tell they're doing like, they have like special rail cars that like push the tracks out. And you could tell they're like making the track like within spec. They're going through right now.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Okay. This
Good
is
question.
kind of on the same note. And I think this question.
This is mayor stuff. We usually don't talk about mayor stuff on Lockpod.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So I think this question implies you were against the expansion. So
I was originally.
Okay. So here's the question. Now that the ratio of in-person versus work-from-home employees is climbing closer to pre-COVID levels, have your thoughts on the South Shore track expansion changed from COVID to the current era?
Well, if you remember more correctly in this, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I was against it at the very beginning when Congressman Visclosky at the time was talking about it. It was more a negotiating position, being honest. Now, you want to put a $1 billion train line right through the middle of my city, any mayor worth their salt would say this is a good idea because it's going to help the city so much with the infrastructure and with access. So it wasn't that I was against the concept. I wanted something bigger than was being talked about at the time. So I took a position that was antagonistic to the whole project. And quite frankly, we hit a grand slam. We got a lot more than we ever thought we were going to get because of the position I took, in my opinion.
And I think really something important, and I want Tom to expand on this because this was a huge position for Tom. He exposed the fact that this line was going to be built through Illinois.
True story.
And you want to talk about that a little bit?
The entire infrastructure improvement was going to take place in Illinois, which was more ready to accept the north-south train line than we were in Indiana. And basically, in Indiana, if we wanted to go north-south for that 8-mile route, it was going to be very expensive, hence the $800 million price tag. The original estimation was closer to $400 million. That was going through Illinois, and we were lancing them. I was like, so let me get this straight. We're all going to pay higher taxes. We're going to use all this federal money, and it's going to come through here, and we're going to improve the infrastructure in Illinois. Great plan, guys.
And the union jobs were going to be Illinois
union jobs. Are going to be Illinois union jobs.
So Tom made
all
sure
the
they were Indiana
improvements
union
are going to
jobs.
be Illinois infrastructure improvements, and we've shamed them into moving the entire thing into Indiana.
And you got the Gateway Station out of it.
And we got the Gateway Station
which
out of
was,
it.
John, that wasn't even going to be there.
But we did increase the price tag quite a bit.
It did, but I think for the betterment of the region and the betterment of people that live in your community, by the way.
I agree.
You know,
so, John, I would say that the initial stance I took, because initially I was like, this project's stupid. We're against it. We're not going to let it go through Hammond. And it was a stick in the mud because they needed Hammond.
Big time.
Everyone else was lining up.
Everybody was lining up, and Hammond wasn't doing shit. My council,
that.
by the way, had my back. I appreciate the council. They had my back totally. And it looked, from Visclosky's angle, it looked like Hammond was like, screw you. We're not participating in this. And then when we came around and said, listen, we'll be on board if you do this, the Gateway Station,
they came to the table.
We got hundreds of millions of dollars of investment out of that position.
So basically the part of the line, John, that goes from the state line in Illinois, like where the Hegwish Station is, all the way through the new Gateway Station and then south probably to around downtown, that was all supposed to be built in Illinois. And now it's in Indiana.
Wow.
So good job, Mayor.
All right, next question. Where has the Doc been? He hasn't been on for a long time.
You want me to? Doc is in love. You know how that messes everything up, especially podcasts. But the Doc is in love. Doc and Caroline Waite are they've met each other within the last year or so, and it was one of those loves that when it happens, it's all consuming, and they're consumed. So like, I haven't seen Doc in the better part of a year and a half. Being honest with you,
Yoko Ono.
Okay,
no.
You could look at it, but like Doc and I are super tight. You know, as is Kevin. But like, I talk to Doc probably a few times a week for years, and now it's like once a week if I'm lucky. So, but I'm sure Doc and I are good friends. I'm sure he'll be back. But not only is he not on the podcast, he's not really even in the region anymore. He's sort of living in Chicago right now.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He lives downtown with Caroline. They're just sort of consumed with love. Consumed with love. Those two lovebirds.
It sounds like lovey-dovey music, John.
Doc and Caroline, two lovers. With no time for Lockpod.
I got to do a slow zoom in on Tom.
Yeah.
No time for Lockpod. Doc Mike.
I want to see a tear.
we miss you, Dr. Mike. We would like you back on Lockpod.
I want to know what's up.
You can still be in love, I promise.
He has this great house project going on in Munster, but
The house
like, I don't
project
even.
is
It's
stalled.
like on a hold. It's like on a hold.
Love has broken the house project, Kevin.
Last time I spent time with Dr. Forright was on the day of the eclipse. I got to hang out with him in his backyard.
Kevin and
so
Dr.
when was
Mike.
that?
Kevin and Dr. Mike during the eclipse.
Yeah.
Hanging out. That's
I'm
the
gonna
last
start
we've
crying.
seen him. We miss you, Doctor. Come back to Lockpod.
John, this music is too
You
much.
can still
It's
be
gonna
in
make
love
me
with
cry.
Caroline, I promise. So, all right.
That's a great song. I got to
was
save
good.
that for
was
later.
good. That was good. See,
Save
by
it
the
for
way,
next
this
time
is what I'm
Forright's
talking
on.
about. With the potluck, you could open up all kinds of doors. Avenues of discussion, you know?
Anything
all
can
kinds of
happen.
closets.
All right, last question. How about that?
Sure.
FOTL acts for 2025?
None.
Question mark?
None at this point. But I made 2 offers I'll talk about publicly because they were rejected. Just to get the country music fans off my ass, I'm going to talk to them about 2 offers that
It's
were
such a
rejected.
great comment because they
It's
are
true.
always on your ass.
They're on my ass. Like, we are ignoring country music.
This year especially, like, what happened to country?
Dude, okay, and we made multiple offers last year on
Sure we
country,
did.
right?
Yes.
So this year we made an offer on Tim McGraw. Big offer.
That's a big
competitive
name.
market
Big
rate
name.
offer. Biggest offer we've ever made in the history of the Festival of Lakes. He shot us down. Okay? So we're taking big swings. How about this one? Eric Church made an offer. One of the biggest offers we ever made in the history of the Festival of Lakes. Shot us down. So, like, I'm taking swings, country fans.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Those were Saturday night shows, obviously great acts. We are still trying to get a country act for next year's fest.
Some inside baseball. The mayor is not against country.
No.
He is in favor of any type of really big music act that can come and bring people to Hammond and entertain you and make it a fun time in Hammond at Wolf Lake. But sometimes it just doesn't route. And
Los
it doesn't work
Tucanes
out.
de Tijuana. I'm
There you
not a
go.
huge fan of them, but like they played Hammond and brought 20,000
How do I
people
know
in,
that?
and I love them now. Los Tucanes de Tijuana, biggest fest act of all time. Okay, so like, give me an act like that, we'll bring it in. I don't care if I like the music or not. So
Yes.
like, I'm not a country music fan, but I know that people like Tim McGraw would pack the place, so we'll make offers.
Eric
And
Church,
you know,
pack the
sometimes
place.
that's like dating. I always say it's like dating, like virtual dating. Just because we're available doesn't mean they're available,
It's
right?
like, it's like Tom swipes left and they never
Right,
respond.
and they don't swipe, right? Just because they're available doesn't mean I'm available. We have to, like, the stars have to align perfectly for this to happen.
That's a good one.
Right.
All right. Thank you to our viewers. And
Is that it?
Chat. Thank you, chat. Those great questions. That was fun.
We gave them our hour. We gave them our hour
That's
of
right.
love.
They took their hour out of me.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it all. Jill, how are we feeling?
I'm all right. It's Friday.
It is Friday. It's
Friday.
a good day. It's a good day. So we're coming back on Tuesday. So next week, our guest Friday of next week is Jeremy Bowen.
One week from today. Tune in.
Jill, he's his kid. I know you looked at me funny when I said that because you didn't recognize the name. His son is the middle linebacker for the Notre Dame football team.
Oh, you were talking about him on the other show. Okay.
And
You did listen.
The
See?
cool thing about him is he's a talker. So, like, not only is he going to talk about when his son was recruited by Notre Dame, which is a cool story, okay? But he's also, like, I was talking to him. I'm like, so, how's Coach Freeman? You like him? And he was like, I love his responses. As soon as he responded to me, I'm like, I got to get you on the show. And he's on. He's excited. He's looking forward to next Friday. And it's the day before Notre Dame plays Stanford, so we put it to show.
It's going to be good.
intentionally
We're going to talk about, like,
off that way.
parents of great athletes.
Yeah.
I'm going to Notre Dame on Sunday.
For what?
We're taking our kids to go watch them play Clemson for volleyball.
Wow, how
Really?
cool.
Mhm.
Oh, no way. Notre Dame women? Mm-hmm. Awesome.
great.
That's going to be fun. They're playing well this year, right?
Hammond Central kids going to
Whiting.
South Bend.
Whiting.
Oh, Whiting. Sorry.
Good for you, Jill. That's fun. That'll be a good time. So, all right. Well, thanks for doing that, Jill, and thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Jay Vez, awesome job on the first segment. And thanks for putting it together. I like how we're starting to share a pre-show burden a little bit.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I have to be mayor and I can't do it like last night. And these two stepped up and did a great show. So thanks, Kevin, John. Appreciate you all.
Welcome.
Kevin Smith, thanks for letting us use the beautiful Smith Sursick Law Firm. And coming to you live from Smith Sursick Law Firm, the Powering Indiana Lake County Studios. This is the Locomotive. Wrapping up another show. Season 10, Episode 13, or Season 13, Episode 10, excuse me, I'm dyslexic, is in the books. We will be back on Tuesday with another high-quality episode. Season 13, Episode 10 is in the books. Take care, everybody. Lockpod's out.